Good morning, guys. This is Taib at HustleKicks.com. And note, today we're not going to talk about sneakers, but today I'm going to tell you about 20 low investment items you can resell to make between $200 or even $1,000 or even more per month. And first, I want to tell you what led me to put this list together. Like over the past few years, I've been approached by a lot of people, including family members, with the same request. They all want to buy Jordan Retros for the purpose of reselling them and make money. And once I tell them like the reality of what is taking place in the sneaker resale industry, they pretty much abandon the idea of getting involved with it, because I tell them all the intricacies of how much time you have to put into it, how much resources, as far as like you need to know where to get it, what to get, and what to resell, because it's not as easy as it looks. Once I tell them all the details, they pretty much say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Now, because of COVID-19, like a lot of people have been laid off because companies have gone virtual. Okay, so people are looking for ways to make extra income. Some people are driving Uber or Lyft or whatever you're doing, and some people want to get into reselling stuff. But the thing is this, like reselling is not for everyone. As far as like how to get the items first, it's not easy, because you have to do a market research. You have to look for the items to sell. So not everybody can do it, and the average Joe can't figure it out. So as much as I love like writing sales projection on sneakers, buying and reselling them, like I love doing this kind of stuff, but the most satisfaction that I get is from doing like scouting, going out there and finding stuff that I can resell. I get a kick out of that. I just love doing that. Now, I love the money that it generates, but I really also enjoy just going out and finding stuff. And I've sold a lot of things in the past, like 15 years. But the interesting thing is this, that the most revenues I've ever made is not from selling shoes, but from selling customized Dragon Ball Z color changing mugs. Exactly. You heard me. Like, this is how much the most money I've ever made is from selling those mugs. And I'll tell you exactly what happened in 2016. I'll give you a breakdown. So in 2015, like I saw these mugs, like these color changing mugs, and they were like Dragon Ball Z mugs. And I ordered about 50 of them. Okay. I've ordered them for a test. I said, let me test these things out. I saw how much they were doing, and I said, let me buy it and I'll test it. So I paid about $5 per mug, and I bought about 50 of them. And I sold them within 7 days on Etsy for $29.99. Okay. So when I realized that people were actually looking for this item, I placed a bigger order. So I bought about 700 mugs, and per mug I paid about $1.50. Okay. And I sold 400 mugs within a 3-week span between $29.99 and $39.99. That was based on where the people that bought it lived. So I'm going to give you a breakdown of the revenue for those 3 weeks. So the purchasing price was $1.50 per unit. The selling price was $29.99, and the quantity sold was 400. So the total revenue based on that was $11,996, and the fees were $3,400. So the profit from just selling 400 mugs was $85.96. So within 3 weeks, I made about $8,500 from selling 400 color changing mugs. Okay. Remember, my initial investment was 1.50 times 700, which is 1,050, and I still had about 300 mugs in stock. So my net profit from selling 400 mugs, if you take away the 1,050 investment, was $75.46. You understand that? $75.46 from just selling color changing mugs. At that point, I completely ignored the sale of sneakers, and I solely focused on selling mugs, because I'm like, listen, why am I wasting my time reselling sneakers if selling mugs brings me more money and it's a lower investment and it's easier, because you don't even get that much return. With shoes, you never know what's going to happen. You send a shoe to someone, they complain about the sizing. With the mugs, I only had one complaint, and that's because the customer claimed that the item was broken when they received it. And I had one out of all the mugs that I sold were returned to me. Okay? But the thing is this, what happened was Etsy ended up kicking me off the place, because they did what you called data mining, because they realized how much and how many mugs I was selling. So they kicked me off the place, and then they in turn were selling the same things I was selling. Basically, they made it seem like my items were not unique, because they say, well, you sold about 400. That can't be unique, so we can't have you here, because Etsy for a place for selling unique items. So they kicked me off, but then they started selling the same things that I was selling. And when I sent them an email to complain about it, they told me, if you're going to voice your opinion, if you're going to say something, we are not going to reconsider your case. And to this day, I've not been back on Etsy. So this is what these companies do. They will just get you and see exactly what you're selling. And then once they realize your items is selling, they kick you off and they start selling the same thing. It's data mining, and Amazon does that too. Now, why am I saying all these things? I'm saying all these things to say that while like reselling sneakers is a popular thing and it's trending, there are smarter ways to make money, okay? For those who have learned to do a market research, okay? That's important because you can't just start selling everything. You have to do a market research. Like, you have to go out and do some scouting. And I enjoy doing scouting. I like to go to local malls. I like to go to department stores like Ross, Burlington, and TJ Maxx and Marshalls or Rugged Warehouse to look for gems that I can resell. And I also like to do a lot of outsourcing. I look for stuff like overseas that I can find there and sell and make some money. So I've had my shares of like ups and downs in this enterprise. Sometimes I made some mistakes. Other times I do better. But for people that don't have the time to do a market research and go out scouting, this is where I come into play. I've prepared a list of like 20 low investment items you can buy and resell to make between $200 and $1,000 or even more a month. When I say low investment items, I'm talking about investment as low as $20 or even $1 per item. That's the kind of stuff that you want to do, because a lot of people, let's say they want to spend, like you spend $200 on a shoe and your profit is like $5 or $10. That's not really good, because you're not really, your markup is so low. But for an item that you pay like $2 for, if you sell it for $20, yes, your profit is like maybe $15 or $16, but you have to look at your markup. Your profit margin there is really high, in 150%. That is incredible. And then you do volume sales, because it's easier for people to spend $20 than it is for someone to spend $250 on an item. Because those mugs were selling quick because they weren't costing that much money. People don't mind spending $25 than $30. But when it comes to like spending $200 or more, people think about that. Like, I'm not just going to go out and spend $300 today just for the sake of it. But for me to spend $25 is not that hard. So you always want to look for low investment items that you can resell. Those are better. And your investment is like pretty minimal. So I'm going to give you an example. For example, like in that was last summer, I sold like a bunch of boogie boards. Okay. That's during the summertime when people wanted to go out to the beach and stuff like that. So I found them, and I was paying about $3 for the boogie boards, and my resale price was between $19.99 and $24.99. So my profit was like between $9 and $12 per item, and I found them via Michaels. So I sold them on eBay, and I sold about 91 boogie boards like between like 35 days. Okay, now that right there is what I call a low investment but a great return. Okay, and most people are not looking for those boogie boards to resell them. Most people don't even know. But if you have the eye, you have to go out and do a market research. You have to really spend the time. Okay, so this is the kind of information you can expect in the report that I provided. And the report will be broken down in as follows. Like, I'm going to have the item names, and I'm going to have a table. And in the table, you're going to have the price, the investment price, the resale price, the projected profit, where to buy it, where to sell it, and the number of sales recorded and the turnaround time. I'm going to provide you with all that kind of information. Now, here's some tips that you can follow. Like, let's say you want to make like an extra $200 this month. Okay. For a $200 profit, here's the things that you can consider. Your investment should be between $100 and $150. And your projected profit per item should be like $10. Okay. And your investment per item is like $3 to $7. And then how many items do you want? Between 15 and 25. So now your turnaround should be 30 days. Now, if you follow this simple plan, you'll be amazed at the kind of extra income you can make, because if you take that plan and you put it into practice, you're going to be getting some dividends out of it. And now to get the list, you're going to have to get access to it. And I'm selling the list for $19. Now, this list took me about 3 days and many hours. Okay. And this is like over 15 years of experience. So I've been doing this for a long time. So I spent the time to do the market research. I did all that dirty work for you, and I found the items. Now, if you want to get access to those items, you're going to have to pay $19. Sorry, I cannot do it for free, because this is my background in mathematics, and I spent a lot of time doing a lot of research. So if you want it, you're going to have to pay the $19. And I hope and I know that you're going to get some benefit out of it. I'm not just going to give you a crappy list. I really invested my time into it, and I back it up. And if you need actually coaching through it, you can also reach out to me, and I'll be willing to talk to you about it. You get an hour free coaching from me if you get the list today. All right. Thanks for watching. This is Ty from Master Kicks, and stay tuned for more stuff. Thank you.